March 15, 44 BC, the theater of Pompeii and Rome. Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in the ancient world, walks through marble corridors surrounded by senators. He's conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, and defeated Pompeii. He survived assassination plots, battlefield charges, and political enemies for decades. In hours, 60 senators will stab him 23 times in what becomes the most famous murder in human history. But let's change one thing. Hidden in the shadows of the theater's entrance, wearing gear no Roman has ever seen, are 6 men who don't belong in this century. A Navy SEAL team, the most elite assassins on Earth, dropped into ancient Rome with one mission: eliminate Caesar before the senators get their chance. So what happens when the deadliest warriors from 2,000 years in the future hunt the greatest military commander of the ancient world? Can they get to him before 60 senators do it themselves? Or does Rome's security prove impossible to crack, even for modern special forces? So who exactly just got dropped into 44 BC? A 6-man Navy SEAL team, fully equipped for a surgical strike in a world that has no defense against them. Each operator is trained for 2.5 years in the most demanding military program on Earth. They've run missions in Abbottabad, Ramadi, and Mogadishu. But this time, there's no satellite uplink, no air support, and no extraction helicopters. Just 6 men, ancient Rome, and a target who survived more battles than any general in history. Here's what they're carrying. Each SEAL has an HK-416 rifle with a suppressor, firing subsonic 5.56mm rounds that make less noise than a hand clap. 15 magazines, 450 rounds total per man. That's 2,700 rounds for the entire team. 3 M18 Mod 2 pistols as backup. Thermal optics that let them see body heat through walls. NODs, night vision devices, that turn complete darkness into daylight. Laser designators for target acquisition. Flashbangs, smoke grenades, and breaching charges. Combat knives designed to kill silently in under 2 seconds. They've got encrypted radios, but nobody's on the other end. Lithium batteries that will last about 72 hours under heavy use. After that, the tech goes dark. Most importantly, they've got something Rome has never seen: suppressed weapons, night vision, and coordinated small unit tactics perfected over decades of asymmetric warfare. In 44 BC, that's not just an advantage, it's supernatural. But here's the limitation nobody thinks about. They get one shot. No resupply, no reinforcements, no plan B. If Caesar's guards spot them, if one suppressed shot gets heard, if a single mistake alerts the Praetorian Guard, 10,000 Roman soldiers flood the streets, and 6 SEALs, no matter how skilled, can't fight their way through the entire Roman military. They have to be ghosts, perfect, silent, and gone before anyone knows they were there. Now, let's look at what they're up against. Julius Caesar isn't just some politician who got lucky. He's a battlefield general who commanded 50,000 men through Gaul, fought hand-to-hand in Germanic forests, and survived a civil war against Pompeii's legions. He's been stabbed before, poisoned, ambushed, and besieged, and he's still standing. The man doesn't panic, he calculates, and he's surrounded by some of the most paranoid security in the ancient world. Caesar's personal bodyguard, the Praetorian Detail, includes 30 of Rome's finest soldiers, trained since childhood, veterans of battles from Egypt to Britannia. They carry gladius short swords, 18 inches of razor-sharp iron designed for close-quarters killing. Their shields are reinforced wood and bronze, tested against spears and arrows for generations. They don't sleep on duty, they don't look away, and if they suspect a threat, they lock down the entire building in seconds. Beyond the immediate guards, there are 500 more soldiers stationed within Rome's city center. At the first alarm, they mobilize, and if Caesar shouts for help, 10,000 legionaries camped just outside the city gates can march in within an hour. Rome's military logistics are the most advanced in the world for 44 BC. Supply chains, signal towers, courier networks. When something goes wrong, Rome responds fast. The SEALs are facing a system designed to crush rebellions, not 6 invisible operators. But Rome has no doctrine for this, no defense, no concept of suppressed gunfire, thermal imaging, or coordinated breaching tactics. Caesar's guards are elite. They're just fighting a war their entire civilization doesn't know exists yet.
The mission begins 48 hours before the Ides of March. The SEALs don't land in the Forum or near the Senate. They insert 15 miles outside Rome in a wooded area along the Via Appia. 2 hours before dawn, no torches, no lights, just thermal scopes scanning for patrol routes. They bury their insertion gear, compact parachutes, and reserve equipment under a pile of stones marked with an IR beacon only their goggles can see. Then they move. The plan is simple: surveillance first, strike second. They need Caesar's routine, his guard rotations, his vulnerabilities, and they need it without being seen by a single Roman citizen. For the next 2 days, they operate like ghosts. One SEAL stays on overwatch, thermal scope scanning rooftops and alleyways. The rest rotate in pairs through Rome's streets, wearing stolen tunics over their gear, faces dirty, trying to blend in. They can't speak Latin fluently, so they stay silent. If someone approaches, they gesture like mutes or drunks and shuffle away. They identify Caesar's villa, a fortified estate in the north of the city. Guards at every entrance, walls 12 feet high, patrols every 20 minutes, like clockwork. They log the pattern. 8 p.m., shift change. 11 p.m., perimeter walk. 2 a.m., interior check. The window is tight, but it's there. Using a micro-drone, basically a handheld quadcopter with a thermal camera, they map the villa's interior through open windows. Caesar's bedroom, northwest corner, second floor. 2 guards outside the door, 1 servant inside. The thermal signature shows Caesar sleeps alone. That's the opening. But there's a problem. The villa is too secure for a direct assault. Stone walls, narrow windows, guards who've held formation against Gallic berserkers. A frontal breach would trigger alarms, and the entire Praetorian Guard would collapse on them before they reached the second floor. So they shift plans. Assassination at the villa is out. They'll take him in transit. March 15th, the day Caesar is scheduled to attend a Senate meeting at the Theater of Pompey. At 9 a.m., Caesar leaves his villa in a litter, a covered seat carried by 6 slaves. He's surrounded by 12 Praetorian guards, walking in a loose box formation. The streets are crowded. Merchants, beggars, soldiers, citizens. Perfect chaos for what comes next. The SEALs position themselves along Caesar's route, blending into the crowd. No comms, they're operating on pre-planned signals. If the lead SEAL taps his chest twice, it means abort. If he raises his right hand, it means execute. They've rehearsed this sequence 100 times in training. Now they're doing it in sandals and stolen robes 2,000 years before they were born. Caesar's litter approaches. The crowd parts. The SEALs move. SEAL 1, the team leader, steps into an alleyway 20 feet ahead of Caesar's route. He raises a compact HK-416 with suppressor, aiming through the gap in the crowd. His laser designator, invisible to the naked eye, but bright green through his NODs, settles on Caesar's chest. Subsonic round, suppressed. The sound is a soft metallic click, quieter than a hand clap. The bullet travels 1,000 feet per second, impacts Caesar's center mass, and punches through the thin linen toga like it's not even there. Caesar slumps forward. The litter tilts. The slaves carrying him stumble, confused. One of them shouts. The Praetorian guards freeze for half a second, trying to process what just happened. There's no blood spray, no visible wound from their angle, just Caesar collapsing. That half second is everything. SEAL 2, positioned on a rooftop 30 feet away, fires a second suppressed round. Headshot. Caesar drops completely.
The guards finally react. They draw swords and rush toward the litter, shouting for the crowd to clear. But they don't know where the attack came from. No arrows, no spears, no visible assassin. Just Caesar, suddenly dead, in a crowd of 200 people scattering in every direction. The SEALs are already moving. They drop their rifles into concealed bags, strip off their outer tunics to reveal different colored clothing underneath, and disappear into side streets. SEAL 3 tosses a smoke canister into the main road, a small device that billows white smoke across 40 feet. To the Romans, it looks like some kind of incendiary accident. By the time the smoke clears, the team is 4 blocks away, regrouping at a pre-planned rally point near the Tiber River. Total time from first shot to exfiltration, 90 seconds. Caesar is dead, and Rome has no idea what just happened. But the mission isn't over. The hard part is getting out. Within 10 minutes, word spreads. Caesar is dead. assassinated in broad daylight. The Praetorian Guard locks down the city, gates close, soldiers flood the streets. Every foreigner, every stranger, every person who looks even slightly out of place is stopped and questioned. The SEALs can't stay in Rome. They need to reach their exfil point, the wooded area 15 miles south where they buried their reserve gear. They move at night. Using night vision, they navigate through fields and back roads, avoiding Roman patrols who carry torches and move in predictable formations. At one point, a patrol of 20 soldiers passes within 50 feet of their position. The SEALs go prone in tall grass, thermal scopes tracking every Roman soldier, fingers on triggers. If one soldier steps off the road, if one torch swings their direction, the entire mission becomes a firefight. But the Romans march past, heading toward the city, completely unaware that 6 men from the future are lying in the dirt, watching them through optics that won't be invented for 2,000 years. By dawn, the team reaches the exfil point. They recover their buried gear, destroy their remaining batteries and electronics with thermite charges, and disappear into the wilderness. Mission complete. Caesar is dead, not by 60 senators with daggers, not in the theater of Pompeii, but on a random street in Rome, killed by a weapon nobody saw, fired by men nobody noticed, in an operation that took 90 seconds. But let's be honest, this mission has serious problems. First, the historical records. If Caesar dies on March 15th, but not from senatorial daggers, Roman historians will still write about the Ides of March. But the story changes. No dramatic et tu brute moment, no senators covered in blood, just Caesar collapsing in his litter, dead from an invisible wound nobody understands. Some will call it divine punishment. Others will say poison. A few might suspect an assassin, but without arrows, without blades, without any evidence, the mystery becomes legend. Second, the power vacuum. Historically, Caesar's death leads to civil war, Mark Antony versus Octavian versus the Senate. That still happens here, but the narrative shifts. Without the senators publicly killing Caesar, there's no clear enemy for his supporters to rally against. The chaos is worse because nobody knows who to blame. Rome still fractures, it just fractures differently. Third, the SEALs themselves. They complete the mission, but they're stranded in 44 BC. No extraction helicopters, no Navy carrier group, no friendly territory. They've got maybe 48 hours of battery life left. Then all their modern tech becomes useless weight. They can survive in the ancient world, sure. They've got combat skills, medical knowledge, basic engineering. But they're 6 men in a civilization that has no place for them. Do they disappear into the wilderness, try to blend into another city, attempt to sail across the Mediterranean with knowledge of navigation and modern tactics? And finally, the question of impact. The SEALs eliminate Caesar faster, cleaner, and more efficiently than 60 senators ever could. But does it change Rome's trajectory? Probably not. The Republic was already dying. The civil wars were already inevitable. Caesar's death is the spark, but the fuel, wealth inequality, military power consolidation, political corruption, was piled up long before March 15th. The SEALs don't stop history, they just make one chapter quieter, less dramatic, and infinitely stranger. So, could a Navy SEAL team assassinate Julius Caesar? Absolutely. They could do it in broad daylight, in the middle of Rome, surrounded by guards, and vanish before anyone realizes what happened. Caesar survived 60 senators for about 6 hours in the original timeline. Against 6 SEALs, with suppressed rifles, thermal optics, and 2,000 years of tactical evolution, he doesn't survive the walk to the Senate.